I have to start with some major news. And it's news that I think fundamentally alters the entire strategic landscape of the semiconductor industry.
It really does. I mean, if you had told me this 5 years ago, this whole scenario would have sounded just impossible.
Completely. The idea that Apple is reportedly preparing to make its former competitor, Intel, a key manufacturer for its proprietary M-series chips.
It's a massive shift.
Welcome to DeepResearchGlobal.com podcast.
So I'm an industry analyst here, and I want to walk you through what this shift really means for Apple's profitability, for Intel's resurgence.
And for the whole global chip supply chain. For you, the investor, this is really about understanding who has the leverage.
And where the production risks are actually being shifted. I'll be using information I've gathered from our industry tracking reports to explain the critical, technical, and strategic implications here.
Okay, so let's start right there with the why. Why Intel and why now? I mean, Apple spent years and a fortune to move away from them. What makes Intel an appealing partner all of a sudden?
The answer is entirely about manufacturing prowess. The whole thing hinges on Intel's new advanced 18AP manufacturing node.
18AP, that's the catalyst then?
That's the one. I believe it's what provides the credibility they need. And analyst reports are calling it, and this is important, the earliest available sub-2nm advanced node manufactured in North America.
Okay, so two key things there. Sub-2 nanometer, which is bleeding edge and manufactured in North America.
Exactly. The geography is the insurance policy. But the tech is what lets Apple even consider it.
So let's drill down on that tech. Apple's entire brand is built on performance per watt. They need power, but they need efficiency more. What's the secret sauce in the 18AP process?
It's how the chips are physically built. The key differentiator is the integration of Foveros direct 3D hybrid bonding.
Foveros. That's Intel's stacking technology, right?
It is. It's a revolutionary approach to stacking. It uses a pitch of less than 5 microns. To give you some perspective, a human hair is about 100 microns wide.
Wow. So it's incredibly dense. How does stacking chips in 3D actually help with power efficiency?
It's all about shortening the distance data has to travel. These tiny, dense vertical connections mean data moves quicker and, crucially, uses a lot less power to get where it's going.
So less energy waste, higher performance, smaller footprint.
You got it. That checks every single box for Apple's base M-series chips, which need to run cool and maximize battery life.
Okay, the technology makes sense. But now the timeline. Intel has let's say, a history of promising nodes and then hitting delays. Why should an investor believe 2027 is a firm date?
That's the biggest risk, no question. But the intent from Apple is very serious. We know they've already secured an exclusive agreement and obtained Intel's preliminary blueprints.
The blueprints being the
18AP PDK 0.9.1 GA, the process design kit.
So they have the draft version. What's the next big milestone we should be watching for?
They're waiting for the full final technical framework. That's the PDK 1.01.1, and it's scheduled for Q1 2026.
So Q1 2026 is the real green light. If Intel delivers that, the project moves forward.
That's the critical milestone. Once that's validated, production design can really kick into high gear.
And when would we see actual silicon coming out of the factories?
The target is for production to start in Q2 or Q3 of 2027.
And what chips are we talking about here? Not the top-of-the-line ones, I assume.
No, and this is a key part of the strategy. It's targeted for the lowest-end M processor. So think the M6 or maybe the M7 generation.
High-volume chips.
The highest volume. This could scale very quickly to, say, 15 to 20 million units by the end of 2027. That makes Intel a significant player in Apple's supply chain for things like the MacBook Air and iPad Air.
That is a staggering volume. Let's pivot now from the technical to the strategic. For years, Apple has relied completely on TSMC for these chips, which creates a huge vulnerability.
Absolutely. I see this move to Intel as the ultimate expression of supply chain diversification. Apple has to mitigate the geopolitical risk of concentrating all its advanced manufacturing in Asia.
So how are they splitting the work? They can't just drop TSMC.
No, not at all. It's a very sophisticated split. TSMC will keep the high-performance, higher-margin chips. The Pro, the Max, and the Ultra variant.
The ones that require the absolute cutting edge of fabrication.
Exactly. And Intel gets the high-volume, standard M-class processors, the workhorses.
I see the genius in that. It creates a competitive dynamic, doesn't it? It forces TSMC and Intel to compete for Apple's business.
That's the heart of it. I view this as creating massive leverage for Apple. It puts natural pressure on both foundries, not just on pricing.
But on capacity. on innovation schedule.
On priority. If TSMC knows Apple has a real, viable alternative, they are much more likely to guarantee Apple premium access to their best and newest nodes.
And then there's the geopolitical angle. The concentration of manufacturing in Taiwan is a major concern for investors focused on stability.
It's a necessary insurance policy. The analyst Ming-Chi Kuo noted that using Intel's U.S. factories helps Apple with the Made in USA narrative, which is a smart diplomatic step.
We have to remember who owns the designs here. Intel isn't designing the chip.
Not at all. And this is vital for you to understand. Intel is purely a foundry partner, a service provider.
Apple maintains complete control.
Total design control over its ARM-based architecture. This secures Apple's long-term vision while just leveraging Intel's physical factories.
So if we zoom out, what I believe this signals is a transformation in the semiconductor industry itself. It's moving to a more collaborative, specialized model.
It is. Intel is successfully repositioning itself as an essential manufacturing partner, even for its old competitors. This validation from Apple is the strongest possible endorsement of their new strategy.
Okay, so here's the final thought for the investor. If Intel proves it can execute this, if they can deliver these high-volume chips on schedule, what's the ultimate prize for Apple?
The ultimate prize is leverage over TSMC for everything. The key question for us to track is this. How soon will this dual sourcing model allow Apple to influence the pricing and capacity allocation for the high-end Pro, Max, and Ultra chips?
The ones TSMC currently has a monopoly on.
Exactly. That is where the significant long-term savings and risk reduction lie for Apple. That is the end game.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe to deepresearchglobal.com for more latest business news briefs, company analysis, and investment insights.